Hello all, welcome to Gurukul CAT 100 series, a series designed to take you from your study room to your corporate boardroom. I am Deepak and this is Daily Quant with Deepak. Hi all, welcome back to day 91 of 100 days to CAT Quant series. In this video, we'll be discussing 5 questions from Quant. So whenever a question is displayed on the screen, pause the video, try solving that question. Once you're done solving, you can resume the video. If you find this video helpful, like the video, share this video with your friends, and most importantly, for more videos of this kind, subscribe to this channel. In case if you want to attempt these 5 questions in the form of a test, you can log into our portal, the gurukul.org.in. The link is already in the description below. Now once you click that link, you'll get enrolled to a course called 100 days race to CAT, in which there will be 3 sections: quant, LRD and VRs. We'll be uploading 100 tests in each section, so that if you're a serious CAT aspirant, you cannot afford missing these tests, and these tests are absolutely for free. So on a whole, you'll be getting around close to 1500 questions to practice, which we consider to be a good amount of or good number of questions in the last stages of your preparation. And without any further delay, let's get started with the first question. The average of a group of 7 distinct natural numbers is 25. Any 4 of these numbers are selected and added such that each group gets selected exactly once and no group remains. Find the average of all possible sums of such kinds of groups of 4 numbers. So we have 7 numbers. Let that be number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7. Now these are the numbers, not the actual values, right? Now the sum of these 7 terms would be, right, given with average, right? So average into number of observations will give us the sum of all these 7 terms. So 7 into 25. So sum would be 175. Now what was asked? Any 4 of these numbers are selected and added such that each group gets selected exactly once and no group remains. Find the average of all possible sums of such kinds of groups of 4 numbers. Now let's find how many such groups would be there. So you have 7 numbers, out of which you should be selecting 4. So that could be done in 7C4 ways. Now what is the value of 7C4? 7 into 6 into 5 by 6. 35. So you'll be having 35 such groups, right? So the number of groups would be 35. Now what should we do? We should be finding the sum of all the numbers in these 35 groups, right? Now let's see how to find. Any 4 of these numbers are selected and added such that each group gets selected exactly once and no group remains, right? Now let us find the number of groups in which the first number repeats. So what I'll be doing is I'll be fixing up the first number and let's see how many groups are there or are formed having the first term, right? Now if I fix this place, you should be selecting 3, right? So we should be selecting the remaining 3 numbers. Now how many possibilities are there? You have 6 numbers. From these 6 we should be selecting 3. So that would be done in 6C3 ways, right? So that would be 6 into 5 into 4 by 3 factorial, which is 6. So 20. So you will be having 20 groups having number 1, right? Similarly, you'll have 20 groups having number 2. So until all the 7 numbers. So every number is repeated in 20 groups, right? So the sum of all the groups would be 20 times the first number plus second number, so on till the 7th number. Done. Now we know that the sum of these 7 numbers is 175. So sum would be 20 into 175 by. Now what was asked? We are asked to find the average. So how many such groups are there? 35. Divide it with 35. Right. So 7 5s, 7 25s, 5 4s. So 4 into 25, 100 should be the average. Right. So the answer for this question becomes 100. Now coming to the second question, the average of 3 distinct positive numbers that are in continuous proportion is 26. Now what do you mean by continuous proportion? Now if I tell you that A, B and C are in continuous proportion, then B square should be equal to AC, which is nothing but A by B should be equal to B by C. So B square will be equal to AC, right? Then if the difference between the smallest number and the second smallest number, so if I consider A less than B less than C, right? So B minus A right, is a third of, so is equal to 1 by 3 of difference between second largest and the largest number, C minus B. Now find the mean proportion of the three numbers. Now mean proportion is nothing but the value of B, right? Now if I cross multiply, you will be having 3B minus 3A is equal to C minus B, or 4B is equal to C plus 3A. And we also know that B square is equal to AC, so we should be using this, right? Now how can we get B square? By squaring on both sides. Now if I square on both sides, then on the left hand side we will be having 16b square is equal to c square plus 9a square plus 6ac, right? Now b square I will replace that with ac. So 16ac is equal to c square plus 6ac plus 9a square. So this will be equal to, now shifting 16ac to right hand side, c square minus 10ac plus 9a square is equal to 0, right? Now what is the product of these two? 9a square c square, and sum should be minus 10ac. Now this is nothing but c square minus ac minus 9ac plus 9a square is equal to 0. But this is nothing but a quadratic equation, right? So I have just factorizing this quadratic equation. Now if I take c common, you will be having c minus a. If I take minus 9a common, you will be having c minus a is equal to 0. Now this is nothing but c minus a into c minus 9a is equal to 0, right? So if this is 0, c should be equal to a, and if this is 0, c should be equal to 9a. Now is this possible? No, this is not possible, because it is clearly mentioned that the average of three distinct positive numbers, so no two of them should be equal, so not possible. So c should be equal to 9a. So if this is a, if this is 9a, the value of b should be 3a, and we are given with the average of these three terms is 26. So if the average of three terms is 26, what would be the sum? A plus 3a, 4a plus 9a, 13a should be equal to 3 into 26, number of terms, into average, which is nothing but 78. So a is equal to 6. Now if a is equal to 6, what was asked? The value of b. So 3 into 6, 18 becomes the answer to this question. Now coming to the third question. Akash has cards numbered 1 through 13. He draws two cards sequentially without replacing them. What is the probability that the number on the first card drawn is a factor other than 1 of the number on the second card drawn, under the condition that the number on the first card is smaller than the number on the second card, right? So from 13, you should be picking two cards. So the total ways would be 13C2. But it is also given that, right? So we should be finding the value under the condition that the number on the first card is smaller than the number on the second card. Now out of 13C2, now let those cards be cards 1 and 2. So they can be arranged in two ways, 1 2 or 2 1, right? Now it is given that the first card is smaller than the number on the second card. So you should not be considering this case, given that the first card should be smaller than the second card, right? So for every selection, you should be considering half of the cases only, right? So the total number of outcomes would be 13C2 by 2, right? Or let me consider one more example. Now if you have picked 3 and 4, right? So you have two ways, picking 3 first and 4 first, picking 4 first and 3 first, right? Now then you have the same cards 3 and 4, but we should not be considering this case, because it is given that under the condition that the number on the first card is smaller than the number on the second card, right? So the total number of cases would be 13C2, right? Out of which we should be considering only half of them, because given that the first number should be less than the second number, right? Now what is the value of 13C2? 13 into 12 by 2, 6 now by 2, so equal to 39. So you can draw two cards, one after the other, from 13 cards, right? Such that the first number is smaller than the second number in 39 ways. So the total number of ways would be 39. So you should be having 39 in the denominator. Now coming to numerator. Now what was asked? What is the probability that the number on the first card drawn is a factor of the number on the second card? Now what could the second card be? Second card could be 13 or 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3 and 2. Now if the second card is 13, now what could be the number on the first card? Right, it should be 1. But it is mentioned that the first card should be a factor other than 1. So you do not have any possibility, right? 0. Now if the second card is 12, right? So you can have either 2 or 4, sorry, and 3 and 6. So any of these four numbers on the first card drawn, so that any of these four numbers is a factor of 12. So you have four possibilities. Now again 11, prime number, so 0. Now if you have 10 on the second card, the first card can have 2 or 5. So you have two possibilities. Now if the second card is 9, right? So you can have 3, one possibility. If the second card is 8, so 2 and 4 can be on the first card. So two possibilities. 7, prime numbers, 0. 6, factors, 2 and 3. So you have two possibilities. 5, prime numbers, 0. 4, you have only, sorry, one factor, which is 2. Now 3 is a prime number, 2 is a prime number, 0. Right. So how many favorable outcomes are there? 4, 4 plus 2, 6, 7, 7 plus 4, 11, 11 plus 1, 12. So it should be 12 by 39. So this can be further simplified as 3 fours and 3 13. So 4 by 13. Hence B should be the answer to this question. Now coming to the fourth question. A boat and a kayak start from 2 points of a river simultaneously and they meet after traveling for 1 hour. If the kayak speed had been doubled and the boat is reversed and its speed is half, right, they would meet after 2 hours. How long would it take for the boat to travel from its starting point to the kayak starting point at its normal speed? Okay, so let me consider 2 points of a river, right? So we have boat here and kayak here moving towards each other, right? Now, if kayak speed is doubled and the boat is reversed and its speed is up. Now, let me consider the kayak speed to be k, and I'll consider the boat speed to be 2b. Okay, because you won't get any number ending up in fractions, right? Now, they meet after traveling for 1 hour. So in 1 hour, it will be traveling a distance of k units, right? And this will be traveling a distance of 2b units. So the distance between these 2 points would be 2b plus k, right? Then what? If the kite speed had been doubled, right? So instead of k, if the speed is 2k and boat is reversed, so now you have boat traveling in this direction and kayak also traveling in this direction, right? And the boat speed is half. Now, if this is B, they would meet after 2 hours, right? So what is the initial distance between them? 2B plus K, right? And since you have both of them moving in the same direction, the relative speed would be difference between the speeds. That would be 2K minus B, right? Now it is mentioned that they would meet after 2 hours. So this kayak will take 2 hours to meet B. Right. So what's the distance between them? 2b plus k. What is the relative speed, or what is the relative speed of kayak with respect to boat? 2k minus b. So distance by relative speed is equal to time. So 2b plus k is equal to 4k minus 2b. Then what do we have? 4b is equal to 3k, or b by k is equal to 3 by 4. Now what was asked? How long would it take for the boat to travel from its starting point to kayak starting point at its normal speed? Right, what is boat's normal speed? 2b. Now let me consider the value of b as 3 and k as 4. Now what is the initial distance between them? 10. Right, so 2 into 3 is 6, 6 plus 4, 10. Right, by what is boat's normal speed? 2b, which is 6. Now this is 5 by 3 or 1 plus 2 by 3. Now 2 by 3. 2 by 3 hours is nothing but 2 by 3 into 60. 40 minutes. So it should be 1 hour, 40 minutes should be the answer to this question. Now coming to the last question. An ore of copper initially contains 60% gangue. Gangue is nothing but impurities, right? So after refining process that removes only the gangue. The resultant refined copper contains 20% impurities. Now how much of the original ore is needed to produce 50 kgs of the refined copper, right? So we should be having 50 kgs of the refined copper by the end, right? Now what is the percentage of impurities in the refined copper? 20%. And 10 kgs should be impurities and remaining 40 kgs should be copper, right? Now tell me, you have a copper ore, right? So it had undergone the refining process. Now will there be any change in the portion or the amount of copper in that? No, right? In the refining process, what will happen? The impurities will change. Okay, the amount of impurities will reduce, right? So there will be only reduction in the quantity of impurities, but there will not be any change in the quantity of copper, right? Now in the original ore also, you should be having 40 kgs of copper in it, right? Now if ore of a copper initially contains 60% of impurities, so if it's having 60% of impurities, the remaining 40% should be copper. Now if 40 kgs is equal to 40%, the initial ore should be of 100 kgs, in which let us say 60 kgs will be impurities, right? Now with the refining process, now this will be reduced to 10, and the amount of copper should be same in both the ore and also the refined copper, right? So the answer for this question should be 100 kgs, hence option D.
Hope you enjoyed learning from today's session.
This series is designed to help you with your CAT preparation and practice daily. We are with you in this journey.
To watch the next video, click here. And to watch Gurukul's CAT 100 series, study room to boardroom, the entire playlist, click here.
If you learned from today's session, like, share, and subscribe.